Hi everyone, welcome back. Today is another installment of my Will I Buy It / anti-haul series. Because May is a no buy month, this is gonna try to be more of an anti-haul. I'm gonna try to talk myself out of buying all these new makeup releases. It should be a fun one because I actually am interested in a ton of these new releases and I have to somehow convince myself that I do not want them. If this is your first time here, hi, I'm Morgan. I spend a lot of time on my channel focusing on conscious consumerism and really loving the makeup that you own. If that sounds interesting to you, I hope you'll consider subscribing before you go today. And now let's jump into judging some new makeup releases. Okay, I have two important business items to talk about here first. Number one, this series is inspired by Samantha March. I will link her channel and her Will I Buy It community playlist down below. Number two is I will link all the Instagram accounts that I use while I'm kind of searching for new releases down below. So if you ever want to follow along with new makeup launches on your own time, you can do that as well by following those accounts. Okay, I've got my notes down here, so sorry for the lack of eye contact. The first thing up here that caught my eye is the Fenty Beauty Bright Fix Eye Brightener. So this is basically a hydrating, brightening, and blurring under eye product. All of the kind of Fenty advertising I've seen with this has been first apply this eye brightener, then on top of that, use a concealer for more actual coverage because it says that this is sheer to buildable coverage for a no makeup look. There are 16 shades and Fenty has a really great kind of shade guide on their Instagram. So I'll pop a picture. Oops, I need to scooch over. So I'll pop a picture here of kind of the guide that I'm talking about. It's just one of their Instagram posts, but there's, really clear kind of explanations of each of the shades. This is going to be available on May 7th at both Fenty on their website as well as Sephora. There is no price announced yet, but Fenty's been releasing some really reasonably priced complexion products lately. This is one product that I'm actually super interested in, and I'm a little sad that it's launching during my no buy month, especially some of those shades for lighter skin tones that are more of that peachy kind of corrector undertone for dark circles. I'm really curious about. Because it's launching during my no buy month, and I know there will be tons of reviews during May, I'm gonna wait and see how the reviews come out. I might purchase this in June with my June budget if I am still interested after seeing some reviews. Next up is the Bronzed collection from Juvia's Place. So there are bronzer duos in 5 different shades. There are 2 different lip glosses, 3 liquid lips, and then an eyeshadow palette, one of their little 6-pan compact eyeshadow palettes that they've been doing lately. They kind of all are in that typical Juvia's Place price range, which, is somewhere between maybe $12 and $24, kind of in that upper teens range. And this collection is available already on the Juvia's Place website. I personally will not be picking up any part of this collection. I do think it looks absolutely gorgeous. I definitely don't need more bronzers though, and I already have enough of eyeshadow shades in kind of these tones that adding another eyeshadow palette with those colors just doesn't make sense for me right now. Okay, Pyt Beauty has released the Daycation Whipped Cream Blush. It looks like there are 4 shades. All of them have a shimmer in them. And the description that Pyt gives says that it is a long-wearing formula and that it gives you that just got back from vacation glow. It's available on May 4th, so already available on both the Pyt website and on Sephora. It's $32. I feel like that's really overpriced. Also, this packaging looks like it would annoy me to no end. I feel like it'd be, when you have a bottle of toothpaste and you can never get out that last quarter of the bottle, tons of product waste without cutting it open. I feel like that's what you would have with this type of packaging, because won't it get all stuck up in those corners, the top corners of the smiley face? I don't know. To me, that packaging doesn't seem great. And also when you're paying $32 for a blush like this, don't you want to be able to use all of the product? That throws me off. I'm also a little skeptical of the shade range. I think they all would work on my skin tone, which then makes me wonder how well they'd work on other skin tones. Regardless, this is a super easy pass for me. I have no interest in this whatsoever. Next up is the Nabla Skin Realist. This is a skin tint, essentially is what it looks like. There are 7 shades. It costs 30 euros. It's available now on the Nabla website, and it says it will be coming as well to their authorized retailers. It says it's a radiant finish with sheer buildable coverage. They have kind of a lot of like skincare claims attached to this product. And it talks about like all the different ingredients included in there and the skincare benefits that they have. So I think that's interesting. I really wanted to love this launch. I have grown to love the Nabla products that I have, and I have been kind of in the market for another skin tint sort of product as we go into summer here. But ultimately, I just kind of felt like the shade range is not quite there yet. I feel like, yes, there are 7 shades. Yes, it's a very flexible coverage product. So, you know, I could probably wear the first 3 shades and they'd all look fine on my complexion. But I feel like the deeper end of the scale is just like that one last shade. Like I feel like the jump from like 5, 6-ish to like 7 is huge. I'm passing on it for now, but I do kind of want to wait and see what the situation looks like. If this takes off, maybe Nabla would add additional shades, or I don't know. I don't know how brands decide whether or not they're going to do that kind of thing. But if this shade range was a little better, this is something that I would have been very interested in. Okay, I feel like I have a bone to pick with Rowan. They just released another one of their eyeshadow quads. This one's called Mood Forever. It's $46, just like the other quads from them are, and it's available now on the Rowan website. My issue with this is that it truly looks exactly like the 1111 quad. Like, to me, it looks just like that. And maybe like a tiny crossover of 75 degrees warm. Of course, I don't own any of those because I kind of think the price is outrageous for these quads from Rowan, but it's a formula I've been really curious to try. And I just haven't felt like the 3 color stories they have already were quite my speed, and so I wanted to wait for something else that was more my style. When I saw the photos for this one, I thought it was just basically the 1111 in different lighting. It just feels like sort of an odd addition to their line, and I definitely won't buy this because I think it's overpriced, and also I'm frustrated by the fact that it kind of feels like they're just taking advantage of people who enjoy their formula by releasing another quad that's kind of just a combination of shades they've already released. So BH has released their May Birthstone palette. The May Birthstone is emerald, so this is what it looks like. It's $9 on the BH website, just like all the other kind of Birthstone palette series have been from BH this year. There is still that one glitter shade in that bottom corner, and I'm just not a huge fan of that. But aside from that, this is actually the first color story in this series that I have liked. I think this one's prettier than the other color stories. I also think the fact that they included neutrals in this one makes sense because a lot of times those browns go really nicely with the greens, whereas like for some of the other palettes, they included like neutral browns and it just felt like it didn't go with the color story at all. So this time I at least feel like I enjoy the whole color story. I'm still gonna pass on this. And actually, one thing that's kind of odd to me is that they didn't take advantage of the opportunity to do like springy green shades for May. This is very much like a fall and winter palette in my mind, which is fine, but they could have done like that emerald green shade as like the deepest shade in the palette, had it really be the standout shade, and then made everything else kind of like lighter, more pastel greens to be a little bit more springy. I think it just would have like sold better this time of year. I am personally holding out to see what the October one is. My birthday's in October and I love my birthstone. It's an opal, and I am curious what they're going to do with opal as a color story. I'm kind of hoping that it's a little different than some of the others have been with kind of those neutral browns, and I hope they really lean into like watercolory shades, which I guess goes against what I just said about the May palette, because in October you probably wouldn't want to release pastels, but I'm just curious to see what opal is going to be. I don't know if I'll ever pick these up, but BH is on my list of brands that I really, really want to try out this year, and specifically I want to try their eyeshadow formula. So I'm kind of keeping an eye on this one, but I'm passing on May. Okay, Vanessa Myrick has released some new shades of her Color Fix foils. So this is 6 new shades of a formula that's already super, super popular from her. People love these. I have never tried them, but these 6 new shades are already available on Vanessa Myrick's website for $18 each. I'm super, super interested in trying Vanessa Myrick as a brand. I'm just not sure I would get enough use out of kind of these single shimmer shadows to justify paying $18 for one. The shades Petals and Fantasy both look right up my alley, just my speed, but I'm just gonna kind of keep an eye on the brand and wait for something that I think I will actually get enough use out of to justify purchasing and adding to my collection. Oh, this one's just a quick update. Good Molecules is officially at Ulta. I am ordering some items. I know I'm in my May no buy, but skincare is not in the same category to me as makeup. My issue with kind of purchasing a lot of makeup and the reason I'm on a no buy and low buy is because I can like never go through all of the makeup that I own. Like even if I never bought more makeup, I would never ever use up everything I currently have. Whereas skincare, I will use it up. So it's not really part of my no buy, low buy. So I am gonna buy some of these things from Good Molecules. Let me know in the comments down below. I would love to hear if you have favorites from this brand. I'm kind of still picking and choosing what I wanna test out. So please let me know. I would love recommendations. Okay, I've got a few more things here that I definitely wanna touch on. Persona Cosmetics just released what they're calling the Dream Stick. Just sounds inappropriate to me. It's a cream bronzing multi-stick. So they're saying it's safe for use on eyes, lips, and cheeks. It's on the go, fresh from vacation vibes. So kind of the same promises that the Pyt blushes are giving us. Clearly, people miss traveling, people miss being out in the sunshine, and brands are capitalizing on that. There are two shades. Sahara is a cool dark bronze, and Dune is a warm medium bronze. Although there are two colors, I still don't think that this is necessarily going to fit every skin tone. Maybe as an initial launch, this is acceptable, but I think long-term, Persona would have to add some more shades if they really do want to expand their demographic at all. It claims to blur fine lines and the appearance of pores. It's available now on the Persona website for $26. That doesn't feel like overly terrible pricing. I don't see the quantity listed. I'm curious about kind of the consistency of these because if they're meant to be used on the cheeks, lips, and eyes, I feel like it is gonna have to be more of like a sheer blendable formula to be comfortable in all those places. If it's gonna be comfortable on my lips, do I really think it's gonna stay put on my eyes? I doubt it, but I do think that's kind of a common theme with these multi-use products is that they typically actually work best in one place on your face. And then they're like okay and safe to use everywhere else, but maybe not ideal. So like I said, it's odd to me that they only included two shades, but it's better than one. It seems like a relatively decent price, and I'm kind of curious to see some reviews on these, but I will not personally be picking them up. So Pyt Beauty is doing a rebrand. They basically did like a repackaging, I guess, of all of their products. And I'm unfamiliar with most of their products, but there are a few people on YouTube who have been kind of ranting and raving about the quality of their eyeshadow palettes for a long time. So like Khaki Reviews Beauty comes to mind immediately with these. She really likes the Pyt eyeshadow palettes. And they used to have a cool and a warm version. And it looks like their eyeshadow palettes are pretty different shades and a different layout and structure and stuff than they used to be. So I do really want to see reviews to kind of see, is the formula the same, is the quality the same, and it really was just a packaging change, or is there a difference in formula as well? So I'm not gonna buy anything. It's an interesting rebrand because they're kind of just claiming that they rebranded or repackaged for sustainability reasons. I haven't really looked into it deeply, but it's something that's kind of like on my radar. So if you know more about that, I'd love to hear in the comments down below kind of what your thoughts are on that restructuring they're doing. Okay, the Collidos Flower Punk palette is one that I definitely want to talk about. So this launches May 5th at 8 p.m. PST on the Collidos website. The palette itself is actually part of a much larger collection, so I'll put a picture of the full collection up here. There's some lip products as well, and you can get like the whole dresser drawer system if you want. But I'm specifically interested in just talking about this palette. So the palette alone is $36, which I think is an incredible price point for a really innovative color story and a brand with really good reviews. I think it's unique packaging. I think the color story is really unique. I think it's perfect for spring if you're not into super pastel-y spring. It's like that perfect mix between spring and grunge that I think could actually be good kind of year-round, good for all seasons. I really love this, but I have been feeling myself gravitate more and more towards less colorful eyeshadow. So I'm passing on this because I think that someday, Kaleidos is gonna release a new palette that is kind of more my speed. The last like 2 or 3 palettes they've released have just been a little bit outside my comfort zone. And although I sometimes like to push myself outside my comfort zone, I also really want to get the most use out of what I own that I can. And I just know I won't use this palette enough to justify buying it, so I cannot wait to see what they come out with next. And then last up here, Colourpop is kind of releasing something that I think is a little odd, but also that excites me. They have released 9 new shades of their Super Shock shadow formula. I feel like these have kind of lost popularity over the last few years. They were kind of one of the first of their kind eyeshadow formulas when they were first released, and I think people have moved on to other formulas in the meantime, but I love this formula. You all know that Amaze by Colourpop is like one of my ultimate favorite tippy top best eyeshadow shades in my whole collection. I love the texture, I love the formula, I love the color. So of course, I'm kind of curious about these new shades they're releasing. Specifically, Secret Garden and Rosebud look gorgeous. The shade Ladybug actually looks almost identical to Amaze. That's interesting. But Secret Garden and Rosebud kind of appeal to me because I love Amaze as like an all-over lid color, but I oftentimes layer it over a deeper shade because I want a little bit more impact. And I feel like one of these 2 darker shades might actually give me that impact without having to layer them. I might see people use these over the next month or so and fall in love. We'll just kind of see how it goes. I'd love to see some more swatches and get a sense of whether or not I think they will flatter my eyes. So of course, I'm not buying these right now because I'm on a no-buy month, but I might keep my eyes on them for the future. So that's everything that I wanted to chat about this week. This is my first day back filming after kind of pre-filming a ton of stuff before my wedding, and it feels so good. I missed this. Thank you so much for interacting with and enjoying my content while I was out for my wedding. It really means a lot to be able to come back and kind of pick up where we left off and have you all still here, still engaged, still excited about my content. So thank you so much. If you have not subscribed yet, I would love to have you subscribe today. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time.